Hello and welcome to round 18 of NEAFL TV. After a couple of rounds of less than 7 games, we were back to the full complement this week. We started on Friday night at the SCG with the Sydney Swans hosting the Brisbane Lions. In cold conditions at the SCG, in a curtain raiser to the Swans and Dons senior clash, this game started a little bit scrappily before Tom Mitchell stopped the rot with the opening goal for the Swans at the 12-minute mark. After a period of back and forth, Lions Academy product Jono Freeman got the first goal for the Lions and the margin was just 1 point. Freeman got his second major 5 minutes later in the shadows of quarter time and the visitors held a 6-point lead at the first break. But from that point forward, the Lions were never in the lead. Brendan Jack, back into the side, kicked the opening goal of the second quarter before veteran Ryan O'Keefe got his first 6-pointer and the Swans vaulted into the lead. Freeman did keep the Lions in touch with his third, but Sam Naismith, George Hewitt and Toby Nankervis kicked goals and the Swans were out to a 27-point halftime lead. And that was more or less how the margin stayed throughout the entire second half. Sydney ran out 28-point winners, led by 33 touches and 2 goals from veteran Ryan O'Keefe. Next up, we're down in Canberra for the crucial clash between Ainsley and Sydney University. This match looked a tantalising prospect on paper, with the students sitting in 7th, just 1 spot behind 6th placed Ainsley and fighting to keep their finals hopes alive. And as you'd expect, this contest was very tight from the outset. In cold conditions at Allen Ray Oval, the students took a 5-point lead into quarter time and the entertaining contest continued thereafter.
Give him time, and it's out towards the number 10 there for Mitchell Thompson.
2 goals to 1 in the second term saw the Tricolours turn that 5-point deficit into a 3-point halftime lead, but the third quarter proved decisive for the visitors. After just 5 goals in the entire first half, Daniel Gilmore's men piled on 7 majors in the third quarter to Ainsley's 2, and they took a 30-point lead into three-quarter time. On their home deck, Ainsley was still close enough to get back into this contest, but the fourth term was as tight as the opening half. The sides kicked 4 goals apiece, and the students, led by Taggart, who kicked 4, Derricks with 3, and Barrett, who kicked 3 of his own, ran out 16-8, 104 to 11-8, 74 winners. Next up, Sydney Hills Eagles travel to take on the UWS Giants. While they're on top of the ladder, the Giants fielded arguably their weakest side of the year, with about half the team comprised of listed players, and they were down early, kicking 6 behinds in the opening quarter to the Eagles' 2 goals and 1. After the supreme inaccuracy of the first term, the home side straightened up a little in front of the big sticks thereafter, kicking 4 goals 4 in the second term and turning that deficit into a 12-point halftime lead. With big men Tom Downey and Jonathan Giles feeding gun midfielders Mark Wiley and James Stewart, the Giants got well and truly on top in this contest in the third term. Without a bullocking key forward to kick to, the Giants had to look to other avenues for goal, and they did that very effectively, finishing with 10 individual goal kickers and a 14-18, 102-86, 54 win, their 9th on the trot. And up to Queensland now, Redland Bombers hosting the Queanbeyan Tigers. This was a battle between a side with genuine premiership aspirations and a team which has had a pretty rough year, and it showed from the outset as the Bombers got right on top. Percentage could play a key part in the final makeup of the top 6 come season's end, and Redland were doing their utmost to boost theirs. With the likes of Phil Cast, Tyler Jones and Blake Brewer dominant through the midfield for the home side, Cleve Hughes was licking his lips up forward. Hughes has been in red-hot form of late, and he piled on goals in each quarter, finishing with 8 majors, stretching his lead in the leading goal kicker to 10 goals over NT Thunder's Darren Ewing. Hughes has kicked 70 goals for the year. Cast finished with 5 of his own, and the Bombers ran out 28-15, 183 to 9-2, 56 winners. Just up the road from that game on the Gold Coast, it's Southport hosting NT Thunder. This shaped as one of the most important matches of the season for both sides, with Southport outside the top 6 bidding to keep their finals hopes alive, and the Thunder hoping to stay in touch with the Giants right up the top of the table. With plenty to play for, it was the visitors who looked better early.
And it's a beautiful kick.
In a sometimes scrappy affair, Southport got their opening 2 goals on the board in that second term, but the Thunder piled on 5 majors of their own and took a decisive 46-17 lead into half-time.
Good one.
Like the first term, the third quarter was a little bit dour. Just 3 goals were kicked, but it was the Thunder kicking 2 to Southport's 1 to increase their lead.
Worked through it there well with Stewart, and it was Huey who gave it to Patrick, and that is a costly and telling goal.
The final stages of this game saw some of the most free-flowing football of the whole contest. 3 goals apiece were kicked in the final term. Obviously, that wasn't enough to get Southport back into the contest. Chris Dunn finished with 3 for the Thunder. Liam Patrick kicked a couple, and NT ran out 12-8-80 to 6-7-43 winners. Now to what proved our closest game of the round in Canberra, Eastlake took on Belconnen. The matches between these two fierce rivals have been seesawing to say the least in 2014, with Eastlake pipping the Magpies back in round 13 before Belconnen got revenge with a big win a month later, and this game, well, it started closely. It was so close, in fact, that both sides had kicked the exact same score at half-time, 4-7, 31 apiece. Belconnen had the better of the third term, but were a little bit wasteful in front of the big sticks at times. They kicked 3-4 to Eastlake's 2-1 in that third quarter and took a 9-point lead into three-quarter time. But the match was again turned on its head as Eastlake started the better in the fourth term. They eventually kicked 3 goals to Belconnen's 2, but the Magpies held on just, winning 9-13, 67 to 9-8, 62 and jumping to 10th spot in the process. Finishing off at Metricon Stadium on Saturday afternoon, the Gold Coast Suns hosted the Asprey Hornets. Asprey entered this game against the winless Suns, knowing a big victory could vault them as high as 3rd position, and they started that search for a percentage boost very promisingly. After 9 goals last week, Eddie Sainsbury got the opening major for the Hornets before MVP favourite Matt Payne and Clinton French got 6-pointers of their own. When Sainsbury and then French got their second majors in the shadows of quarter time, John Blair's men were looking ominous. After that rush of first-term goals, remarkably, the second quarter began with 6 behinds, with the opening major not coming until the 24th minute through Clinton French, but he added another just 2 minutes later, and when Jack Stanley kicked one in red time in the second term, the Hornets led by 57 at the main break. The third term continued in much the same vein as that first quarter, as Ryan Matthews kicked a couple of majors and Eddie Sainsbury got his third. After goals to former Lions Shane Stiller and another to Clinton French, the Suns finally got their first 6-pointer on the board midway through that third quarter. Gold Coast actually kicked 3 in that third term, but those were the only goals the Suns got all afternoon. It was a very dark day for them. They were 3-6-24 at three-quarter time. That was where they finished at full time. Astley, however, piled on goal after goal. French kicked 6, Lucy kicked 3, as did Sainsbury, and the Hornets vaulted into 3rd position with a 26-18, 174 to 3-6, 24 victory. Now to the ladder, and there's been some big shifts in the top 6. The Giants still on top, but then it's the Thunder. Asprey have jumped to 3rd, followed by the Swans, Redland and Ainsley. Now Sydney University nipping on their heels in 7th. Then it's Southport, the Hills Eagles, Belconnen, the Lions, Queanbeyan, Eastlake and the Gold Coast Suns. To round 19, and it's a double header at Blacktown to start the round with the Swans and Suns, and then Students and Bombers. Down in Canberra, Queanbeyan take on the Giants, the Lions in Southport, Thunder and Asprey, Belconnen and Sydney Hills Eagles, and Ainsley takes on Eastlake. That's all we've got time for this round of NEAFL TV. Just 3 weeks left in the regular season, and those final spots are still well and truly up for grabs. Check the website, check the app during the week. I'm Sam Canavan. See you next time.